Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to 6 News. In this video we're going to go over all the changes that are coming with the new season High Caliber. Now I've already got a dedicated video out on the new operator and what I thought of actually playing her. That's out on the Core Ross channel, and in this video we're going to go over all the changes with the season. And there's a lot of huge ones, but none of the ones I actually thought were going to make it in. So I did a video recently going over the stuff that hadn't yet showed up from the Year 6 reveal at the beginning of this year. So the Goyu rework, the ranked rework, the drone after death, the using gadgets after death, all of that hasn't made it in. So I did ask if it had been cancelled or delayed with those features, and I didn't get an answer. So that stuff might be full on cancelled or just delayed. We'll have to wait and see. But let's start with operator balance. And so Finka, she is going to be able to self-revive, and the recoil reduction that's on her ability is gone. And the cooldown has increased by 10 seconds up to 20 from 10. And of course that adds on to the previous changes this year for Finka, where our health boost is permanent. So overall, wonderful change for Finka. Now something that's changing that is going to be hated by Valkyrie mains is your cameras will no longer work outside. There's actually going to be a countdown and they'll go offline by not being able to connect. And basically your Wi-Fi range just isn't good enough. Now this is also going to affect Echo and Mozzie, but in a good way, oddly, because the time it takes for those to actually go offline outside has been increased to 10 seconds, which means as Mozzie you can now drive your drone outside, see if anyone's repelling, drive it back in, and then do a run out. And the same thing for Echo, he can actually drive his drone out, have a little look around, and drive it back inside. So that's awesome. But for Valkyrie, overall big ass nerf, and it means all your cameras are pretty much going to be inside. Now again, you can use that 10 seconds, so you can throw your camera out, have a look around, then do your run out, but of course you'd have to go retrieve it if you want to get back and switch it back on. Now I mentioned that gameplay after death is not in this season at all and not mentioned, but something from that has made it in, and that is the reworked bulletproof cameras. So I think this is the second rework of bulletproof cameras at this point. Now we did see this already, it was in the test server earlier in the year when we were testing the gameplay after death. And what it is defenders can actually look around with the camera so you can see far more, and it has the EMP burst. So you can fire an EMP and it will disable drones and gadgets and stuff. And it's certainly interesting that has made it in, and it's a very powerful upgrade for bulletproof cameras. And defenders are the only ones who can shoot. They also have to be alive, and attackers, even if you hack into it with Dokkaebi, you won't be able to fire the EMP. We've also got proper elite customization now, so this is the 2.0, and it just means everything is separated. So you've got your player card, you've got your uniform headgear, you've got your dance, you've got your colored background behind your operator card now as well. So of course all this stuff I expect to see in the battle passes and things. I think it's going to be just everywhere, and of course you can buy it. And yeah, this is definitely great. This is what I expected from elite customization. I'm so happy we actually got this. Of course we got part 1 last season, but this is just perfection. Also, there's an elite Melusi coming, so I can actually show you this. I assume they're going to show it off at the actual reveal, and you will already have seen it. But there's 3 other ones that were also in our early access build that we're not allowed to talk about. So I was kind of surprised to see so many. I don't know if they're going to be releasing a whole bunch or if that's just for future seasons, but I'm not allowed to show you them, although some of them are cool. Of course, there is the rework to Outback, and it's kind of hard, obviously, with just a certain amount of days to actually play the new build and get an idea. It's a lot different, very different kind of, like it has that, the skeleton in some places is exactly the same, but it feels very different. So yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting more time to see if this reworked Outback is something I'll enjoy playing. Hopefully new maps next year. And let's move on to the HUD. So you'll have noticed in gameplay for this season that it is very different. I think it's a little bit too big as well, but let me break down some amazing features coming with this new HUD. So first up, they told us that the previous HUD was based on Flash. So you know that extremely outdated and I think discontinued online animation that used to be dominant. That's what actually the HUD was based on. Apparently this new one is much better and they can change it easier. And it's also far more customizable. This means proper colorblind stuff is coming in the future. So what you can do right now is you can change the team colors. by default, it's always going to be your team that's blue and the enemy team that's red, which I think is wonderful, nice and simple. But you can customize the colors. You can actually just change them on the fly if you want to, and they're going to add a whole bunch of other colors in that you can choose. So to me, absolutely perfect. They're also going to go one step further, and that is they're going to actually make the gadget. So you will have noticed Jaeger's Active Defense has a light on it, which is always blue. That Claymore lasers have their red lasers and stuff like that. You're actually going to be able to change that along with the team colors. So in the future, when I change my team and the enemy team, the gadgets will correspond correctly, and that's brilliant. So if you have, say, a color blindness and you cannot see red lasers easily, you're going to be able to change that in the future. Not yet, so it's unfortunate we're not getting it quite yet, but that is coming. So that to me is wonderful to finally see some proper colorblind options that are near. However, let's talk about the downside. The HUD is freaking huge. I think it can all be reduced by about 50% because there's a few things that are not good. So for instance, there's this example where I walk up to a window, I've got the diffuser, and look at all these interaction stuff. Now, of course, you can switch that off, but I do like having those reminders, so that I know when I can vault and stuff like that. But this puts it so close to the center of the screen. And if you aim in when you've got a diffuser and stuff like that, it still shows up. It is not good. So yeah, I think we can clean it up a little bit more. But this new HUD apparently far easier for them to change. So I'm hoping to see big changes and just make it really freaking nice in the future. Oh, and I do find the compass to be far better for spatial awareness. Knowing which direction a ping or objective is way better with this new compass. And it's got 3 weeks on the test server, so I think we could see some significant changes to this HUD to make it a bit more manageable and less intrusive. And when I mean less intrusive, this example here, when you are spectating someone, their player card is freaking massive, basically taking up 1/3 of the screen, and that gets in the way of helping your teammates. But also, I understand why it's there and why it's so freaking huge, because of course they'll be selling these player cards, so they're wanting to advertise it. So reduce that by at least 50% and I'll be much happier. Now there's another huge change that's coming to the new season, but not to everyone right away. It will be coming at some point to everybody, but that is the ability to actually change your name and go incognito in game. So when you literally can just pick any name you want, and then you will appear like that in the game you're in. So everyone in the game with you in the server will see that fake name, which is awesome. So it's effectively a streamer mode. Now, interestingly, they did not actually call it a streamer mode, but it seems to work like that. It is server side. Now, hopefully it's really wise and it actually plugs into the back end as well. So of course, Ubisoft's APIs go out to third-party software. Hopefully that third-party software is given the fake name and then maybe the real name when the game actually ends or something like that. But in our presentation, they called it a privacy setting, not a streamer mode. So I'm not sure how in-depth it actually is going to be. However, it is going out to streamers first. So content creators will get early access to this feature to test it because there's potential security issues with it. So they want to roll it out to content creators first in order to try and find any exploits that might be in the system before they go ahead with it. Because it is kind of plugging into so many different kind of back-end things, there might be potential issues. So hopefully content creators who might be playing this game like hundreds of hours per week will find any exploits before it eventually goes to the full general public. But that means everybody in the future is going to be able to use it. So if you get DDoSed on console regularly, you should be able to use a fake name. Now, of course, you can go to the scoreboard, press on it and view profile, and that'll give you the real name on a console. So I assume part of that will be disabling that interaction to bring up the player profile. And of course, you'll still be able to report players for cheating or griefing, and that report will go off in the real name. So it's not like they'll be able to avoid those issues. And of course, you'll still have your match ID on the scoreboard. So if anyone's looking up a game clip and seeing someone cheating, they'll be able to look at that game match and obviously see the real name as well. And there's a few other small changes. So for instance, alpha packs now look like this with kind of a teal blue, and we're going to have a new type of cosmetic which is called an exotic. What they showed us was basically a 3D weapon skin, but they didn't show it like in action, but I'm assuming either it might do something like glow or something interesting. But all I can think when I seen the first one was like, it's very Destiny and very Destiny exotic. But yeah, that's going to be a whole new range, probably at the end of battle passes, and I would assume maybe a few thrown into alpha packs as well. and maybe even some purchasable ones directly too. Also, here are the rank charms that you'll be able to attain at the end of the high caliber season, along with confirmation that the Outback rework will be coming into ranked. The main menu is also 6 invitational themed, and I expect that to probably be the case for the battle pass as well, and of course a 6 invitational event that will come this season too, leading up to the 6 invitational in February next year. But let me know what you think of all these changes. The test server as well is going to be up tomorrow, so that is the 9th of November. And of course, there'll be full patch notes on the 9th as well that I'll cover on the Core Rush channel. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.